Now, talking about the next part, we recently closed with the winter transfer window, and many United fans are very, very disappointed with how the window played out. It was only Patrick Dorgu who got signed as pretty much the part of first team, and Aiden Heaven. And we let go of a few attacking players in Rashford, Anthony. So there's a bit of a feeling that United squad is depleted. But let's look at it more holistically and talk about all the four positions: goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and attackers, to say, okay, where we are. And probably when we get into the summer window next, what is it that will be required for us to improve as a squad? We will rate them as how they are currently and talk about what is it that we need to do to improve onto this further. So
Very,
start.
very kind of you to call Rashford and Anthony attacking players, by the way. They weren't attacking too much, were they?
Yeah, that's the sad reality of it. But
Mm.
cool. Let's get into it and talk about the goalkeepers. What do you make of our goalkeeping depth, goalkeepers that we have? And on the screen, we can see the three goalkeepers: Onana, Heaton, Binder. And I think Eric Ten Hag has also been placing another goalkeeper from the academy there. So I think he is also close to being part of the first team squad. But primarily, it is Onana and Binder. What do you make of them? Do you believe we have them? If you were to rate them between let's say top rated, or if you were to just rate them on a scale of three, one being the highest, three being the lowest, how would you rate that, and what do you think we need in that department?
I'm not convinced by Ante Onana being our primary goalkeeper.
Yeah,
I thought the club missed a trick in not signing an extension with De Gea.
yeah,
Best thing they could have done was bring in Onana, provide some competition to De Gea, and it would have been, improve or perish.
yeah,
Uh, we let go our best player, arguably our best player, after Sir Alex Ferguson in these 10 years. I think the longest run of form De Gea had. We let him go for nothing. Andre Onana, as much as he talks big game, when
yeah,
it comes to doing the most basic things on the football pitch,
yeah,
he falls short. I think his communication is obviously brilliant with the defenders and everything. I just don't think he saves enough goals, and there's always an error in him.
yeah,
De Gea, I think, had some 12 goals, 12 errors leading to goals he in his entire career at United. Andre Onana's already had 17. That just tells you how much confidence I have in the goalkeeping department.
yeah. But
Although
if you
I
were to
don't think
rate it, how would you rate it?
I'd rate it two, but again, I don't think we have ample resources to go about and get a replacement or so. So, it is just a Hail Mary sort of situation where we
Yeah,
assume and we hope that Andre Onana will find form in
yeah,
some point of time.
yeah. So I think we are not changing. Immediately, I don't see us changing our goalkeeping department too much. I think Binder, for that matter, is, I think, proving to be a good backup. His recent performances in the cup games have been good. He would have played the recent FA Cup game as well if he was not injured. But he's been proving a good backup. Obviously, I think Onana started the season really well. It felt like he's turned the corner after the last year, but I think he has a few mistakes in him. But if we were to talk about what do we need, I don't know if we need a immediate change to it, but
I Yeah, I've heard rumors of Altay Bandir going back to Turkey. A lot
Turkey,
of clubs are
yeah,
interested in his services, especially Galatasaray. But there is a slight possibility we might go for a new backup goalkeeper, which might come in the form of Zion Suzuki, by the way, who we were linked before.
yeah. So I would ideally hope we can get another goalkeeper who can compete
Yeah.
with Onana for the number one spot. I don't know how much of that will be possible, but let's see. Let's see. I think summer window will dictate some of that. Moving on to the defenders now. I think, and this includes, let's talk about it in two parts, our centre backs and the wing backs, who
Mm.
Amorim pretty much calls as wingers, but yeah, I think let's look at them a little more holistically. Our centre backs, I think we are relatively better positioned with regard to our centre back, especially with the Mazarawi having the capability to play centre back. Luke Shaw, when fit, can play left centre back as well. Aiden Haven has been signed in the centre back position. Maguire, Delict have been doing well. Bleacher unfortunately has had that injury. He holds up really well, possibly one of our best leaders. And Euro has already shown signs of being able to deal with the pressures of a Premier League team. What do you make of our centre backs? And then we'll talk about our wing backs as well.
I'm very happy with the depth we have in the center back, department. Of course, now we need even more depth because we've been playing three center backs rather than two,
Yeah,
which is the usual case. But yeah, very happy. Of course, I think there is still some. I don't want to go as far as to say deadwood,
yeah,
but I think it is time. Johnny Evans hung his boots. I mean, please let the man rest. We cannot have another season of Johnny Evans, as great as he is, as great a servant as he has been for
yeah,
United. I really believe we need mobile defenders. He is brilliant on his day. He is very intelligent in his game.
yeah,
I still believe that we need ball carriers, defenders, just like Licha is. And I believe that Euro with time will improve.
yeah.
Aiden Heaven, we are yet to see his potential. I think we are well stacked in that department. I think you're right when you're right. 2.5 out of 3 in this
Yeah.
department.
And then the big question, Amorim has changed the system and playing with two wing backs now, which is where this entire issue of us not having uh, natural wing backs is starting to create that issue. And we have Dallo there, Mazraoui who can play there. Ahmad comes in. We have signed Dorgu, but I think we still lack some of those natural wing backs in the squad, and probably we need at least one more who will be a first team player, and then we will need to see if we have enough backup for those. But if you were to rate our wing backs, how would you do that?
1 out of 3 because of the kind of importance Amorim has brought upon these positions.
Yeah,
If we were playing a back four, I would be less critical. But since we are playing a wing back system, these positions are the most important positions in my opinion, and I don't think we have good enough players in these
yeah,
positions. We already talked about how Ahmad performs much better than at a wing back position than at a number 10 position, and that in itself is a testament of how badly we need another signing, maybe in the form of Quenda, like you mentioned.
yeah. I'm really hoping that Quenda comes in. I'm really excited by the fact that Amorim made him the first team player at age of 17 or so, and even against Manchester City, the game that they won, I think 4-1 or something, he was instrumental playing from that right wing back position. I have a feeling Amorim likes those left footed wingers, wing backs, and Quenda is one of those, as is Dorgu. So if we get in Quenda, and there were some rumors that we could sign a 60 million deal for him in the summer, hopefully some of that materializes. But yeah, we need at least one more of those first team ones in the summer window.
I also hope we are able to make this a lighter department in the form of Victor Lindelof outgoing,
Yeah,
Johnny Evans outgoing, and I don't know, maybe Luke Shaw also has to call time on his time at United.
correct, correct. And hopefully Harry Amas can grow into a player. We can see on the United website he's been listed as a first team player. We have seen hardly any game time for
Yeah,
him. So hopefully he can grow into a first team squad player as well. Cool.
brilliant.
Moving into the much talked about midfield team, midfield and the forwards lineup. Midfielders we can see on the screen. We at least need three or four of them as part of our first team squad. And if we were to just count on screen, Mason Mount has been injured a lot. Christian Eriksen doesn't have the legs to regularly start. Casemiro has passed his prime. Ugarte and Bruno obviously are two, and then Menu, who has been constantly playing. Collier is a upcoming player. So essentially, we just have three players for three positions who need to play game in, game out. So I think we are pretty bleak in that department.
No, I mean, we are one Bruno injury away from having a write-off season.
Yeah.
Already it's a shambolic season, but yeah, if Bruno Fernandes or Ugarte was to get injured, touch wood, that doesn't happen. But I don't think we have enough backup. We have zero idea about one when Mason Mount is getting back to fitness, and the fact that he cannot sustain that fitness is another worry as well, right? Because we
Yeah.
have had false dawns before this season starting. He did start well. He played a couple of games. He got injured, came back from injury, got injured again. Uh, Not good
Which is
signs. We
exactly
paid.
the reason why for Mount and Shaw I've stopped counting them as part of, the players we can depend on as part of the squad. I had that feeling at start of the season, even mid, couple of months before that, Mount will come in. He fits really well into that number 10 spot, but I don't count him anymore.
I feel that number sixes and eights, we have good depth on them
Yeah,
in the form of Ugarte Menu. Collier has done a good job since he has come in. All the players seem to like his personality and his behavior around the squad as well.
yeah.
Uh, of course, Ericsson and Casemiro have to go in the summer, but yeah, it'll be good to have some sort of backup for Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount in the number 10 position. Again, important positions. It's a very weird profile in Amorim's system because these tens are not just tens, but they also act as wingers as well, I believe, because they are more often than not and on the uh, byline of the area.
Yeah. No, that is true, and which is where, when we have to defend heavily and our wingers slash wing backs stuck in and get more defensive, it is these number 10s who have to provide that width, and I think he calls them those inside forwards who come in quite often. So, yeah, which is where I think he typically prefers one of the 10s to be a winger sort of a profile and the other ones to be a midfielder sort of a profile, which is where Menu Garnacho can work as a combination or Bruno Garnacho can work as a combination. But obviously, Bruno, I think he's preferring more in the deeper squad, which is where if Mount was to come back in, it will have a lot of impact with his pressing. But yeah, I think you put it right. We need a backup for Bruno. We need to sign another top-notch creative slash ball carrying midfielder who can drive this squad forward. And if we were to rate the current one, I would say 1 out of 3 again. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, 1 out of 3 sounds about right.
Yeah.
Any ideal player in your head who can come and say be a backup for Bruno? Would it be a Cunha?
Cunha is, I think, more of that Garnacho profile. I maybe put him there. I'm not sure
Number
if
10.
uh, and I think there have been some link ups to Ederson. He I think plays for Atlanta if I'm not wrong, but
But again,
he's more of
he's
a
one of the center
yeah,
midfielder.
number 6 profile. Yeah, six
Hmm.
slash eight. I think more of a menu profile there in the earlier role, not the current role that Menu is playing in. But I'm not able to think of somebody who could come in there.
I put it out there once again, Aruj. Harry Kane can be your forward, can be your number 10. There's no other player of that profile who can
Yeah,
create and score as much as Harry Kane does.
yeah. I think if we, and I'm going a little bit unrealistic here, but somebody of a profile of McAllister or Shoboslai from Liverpool
Hmm.
might be a good one, but yeah, we aren't getting them.
Mm.
But actually, there is a dearth of proper creative midfielders. The ones who have
Yeah.
been doing well are now aging. I think KDB is also aging. So I don't see a lot of those proper number 10s anymore, or not that
Uh,
popular. Maybe a Jude Bellingham
that
profile is also something that could fit in, can play
Jude
box to
Bellingham,
box, can play up front, can play number 10.
not happening.
No, no,
Maybe,
obviously not
maybe
happening. We need to find a player of his profile. Even Ineos have said they are not going to sign these big players. So I
mm,
think we need to maybe find a player of that profile from somewhere and build them up.
maybe someone comes from the academy.
Yeah. Or Manu can be
I
groomed
know,
into that profile as well.
definitely can.
Cool. Let's talk about the much talked about attacking players. Rasmus Højlund, Garnacho, Zirkzee, and Ahmad are four there. And which is where I was talking about. It's a combination of that inside forward and a forward position. In forward position, we have Højlund, Zirkzee, who we really need an upgrade on, and Ahmad Garnacho in that inside forward position have been doing well. Ahmad is also versatile, can play wing back as well. But if you were to overall rate them today, how would you do that?
0. 0.5 out of 3. I think this is a department which needs the most improvement in our squad. We lack goals, we don't score enough goals, and it's not because of the chance creation, because we have seen we make enough shots, maybe not from the best positions. But that being said, Manchester United forward cannot have figures like 3 in 18, 2 in 22,
Yeah.
or something which right now Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee have. I'd be furious with the board for not supplementing this position in the winter transfer window. But that being said, maybe there wasn't anyone available.
Yeah, I think Amorim spoke about the fact that we are being careful in the transfer window. We have had certain mistakes in the past, so maybe that is the reason that they didn't want to rush into signing somebody who won't work out for the squad that well. And I appreciate some bit of that transparency, but that doesn't solve the fact that we don't have a top class finisher or goal scorer in the squad. We have let go of Rashford, who potentially can contribute even in his worst season with 8-10 goals at the least. And I think that is the challenge. We are not able to replace those goals. But I think come summer window, we need at least that one inside forward or a proper forward who can bang in 20-25 goals a season at the least.
Can I also say that we don't have a magic player, X factor player anymore? I don't
Bruno is
think
one, no?
Garnacho, um, not consistent enough. Also, I see Bruno at centre back, my blood boils, and I really don't want to see him there. I don't think we have a X factor player anymore. Rashford was
Garnacho
one for
can be
me.
that one. Garnacho can be that one, but I think he will
Yeah,
need to up his consistency there.
yeah. But don't disagree with Amorim when he says this is pound by pound, maybe the worst Manchester United squad for quite a long time.
Yeah,
Shows in the results and shows in our ratings as well. If you
absolutely.
see 2 out of 3 goalkeepers, defenders, we are saying 1 out of 3, two out of 3.
Yeah,
Midfielders, we are saying 1 out of 3. Attackers, we are saying zero point 0.5 out of 3. These are not good signs for a United squad. Really hope our board dips their fingers in the summer transfer market, and I really hope for a miracle from the academy. I know
yeah.
there are a lot of players knocking the door, and this will be a good enough time because reinforcements are required.
Absolutely, absolutely. And based on what we have just spoken about through the last 20 minutes or so, I think three things are very clear. If we had three transfers to make in the summer window, get a top-notch attacker, get a ball-carrying midfielder, get a proper wing back, and then if we still have space, get a backup for Bruno, get probably another goalkeeper if Binder was to go. So I think those are the 4 or 5 signings we should be focusing on. And hopefully, after the bit of a disappointment in the January transfer window, we are able to do better in the summer one.
Of course.
Great. All right. Thanks everyone for joining in. This has been a good one. We enjoyed doing this. Hopefully, you enjoyed listening into this one as well. Do let us know your thoughts on how you liked it and how is it that we can improve further. And yes, as always, this is our perch. Let's knock him off. Until next time, stay united.